Zeeberland. Well, okay, we never called it Zeeberland, I just needed a title and made that up. But this was the ZBS estate. I say was because the red garage with little white windows is now gone. This photo was taken in the early 70s, probably in the spring. It was taken from a bridge. We live on an island. On the far right, you can see a narrow strip of blue. That's the Hudson River. It looks narrow, but it's a lot wider. The bridge this photo was taken from goes over the Lake Champlain Canal. You can get to Montreal on that canal. There were paper mills along the Hudson. They built dams across the river to power the mills. Boats and barges couldn't use that part of the river. It was dammed. So they bypassed the dams by digging a canal. Since the dams changed the level of the water, the canal has locks. When we first got here, some of the locals would spend Sunday afternoon sitting and watching the boats rise up and down as the locks filled and released water. Starting at the left, you'll see there's a metal horse barn, then the big red barn, then the main house. You can see 3 white chimneys. There are 5 fireplaces inside. The house was built around 1810. Over to the right, that glimpse of white through the trees, that's our studio house. It was a fun place for a radio commune to live, work, and play. During elections, the local politicians would come soliciting our votes because where else would they find such a big block of voters living in one place? All the Zebras were pretty liberal, so were their friends. And since we're on the Hudson River and Canada is only 2 hours away, friends would ask, was this part of the Underground Railroad? Answering that question was just too tempting. The Zebras would reply, yes, it was. Escaped slaves were kept here. And our friends would get all excited since we were living in such an historic... You misunderstood, a devious Zebra would say. It was the ones they caught at the border. They'd keep them here before sending them back down south. Our friends would be shocked. But what about the karma? All that bad karma. How can you live here? God, we could be so cruel. But setting them up was so much fun. And then we added an element. Upstairs in the attic, right next to one of the chimneys, is a secret trap door. I say secret because you cannot see it. It's built into the floor. You have to get down on all fours to find where the floorboards have been fitted so snugly it's almost invisible. Underneath the trapdoor is a space large enough for a person to hide. Now, when someone would ask if it were part of the Underground Railroad, we'd beam and say, yes, it was. Would you like to see where they'd hide? We'd take them up to the attic, point to the secret spot. They'd get down to examine it, and suddenly the trapdoor would fly open and out would leap Max. It'd scare the hell out of him. We never did figure out why that hidden space was built into the floor. It's an old colonial house, so it must have been to hide something. We don't know, but it's still up there. And speaking of hell, I suspect that somewhere down there, pitchforks are being kept sharp for each and every zebra.